Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can build your own RAG agent. Now RAG just stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and it just basically acts as an FAQ chatbot, and it sends the user's query over to our vector database and then returns a response. So how does this work? Well, there are a number of different vector stores that you can be using, but I will be using the pinecone vector store. So once you do that, you set up an account, get an API key, and create a credential inside of n8n. Then from here, what you want to do is come here and click Create Index, give your new index a name, and I will just be calling it YouTube. Then you can basically leave everything here as is. The only thing you need to change is the model, which we will be using text embedding 3 small. Click on that, and then click on Create Index. This will take a couple of seconds, but once we do that, we are basically finished on this end. Come over to the n8n agent, and you can see over here that we have two different workflows in here. The first one is what is going to allow us to upload knowledge to our vector database. Usually you will want to upload a bunch of different files, so that way any user can interact and ask questions based on that. So I'll explain how this first part of the workflow works. What I'm going to be using over here is an n8n on-form submission, and it's going to allow us to insert documents. Then it's going to pass those documents into our vector store node over here. So what we have to do is click on here, select on YouTube, which was the index we just created, and then make sure the operation mode is set to insert documents. Leave this as is, and then we need to create a namespace. If we come back over here to pinecone, you can see that we have 0 namespaces right here. This is just basically what is going to be the name of the document created inside our index. So come over here, I'm just going to call it YouTube again, but call it whatever you want. And then we are done for this part. Next, what you need to do is you need to come over, give it an embeddings model. I'm using the OpenAI one. Come over here, and then we need to make sure that we select the text embedding 3 small. Make sure it's the exact same one on pinecone. And then we select the dimensions over here, which if you saw over here was the exact same one, 512. So once you have done that, next we need to give it a document loader. I'm just using the default document data loader. Come over here and then make sure you switch it from JSON to binary. Next, the last thing you need to do is give it a text splitter and just give it the recursive character text splitter. And then you can leave these as is. So that is basically this part of the workflow done. So let's just go ahead and upload a document into there. So I'm just going to go ahead, choose a document over here, and I just have an example of an FAQ document. Just upload that, click submit, and now this part of the workflow will trigger, and it should upload into our namespace. I will show you that in just 1 second. Next over here, we actually have our AI agent. This is how you're going to communicate with the agent to ask questions. So first you're going to start with the chat message receive trigger, and there's nothing special over here, you just leave it as is. Next, you're going to want to add an AI agent. I like giving it a system prompt. This is just how the model identifies as. And then you give it the user prompt. So you can just pause the video here for a second and take a look at the prompt that I used. You can give it a little bit more detail or make it more specialized based on your application. The most important thing you do need to do is add in the chat input from the chat trigger. Once you have done that, come over here to the model, click on whatever model you would like to use. I'm going to be using the GPT-4o mini, but if you have a different provider you would like to use, I don't know, say like Olama for example, you can use that as well. Give it some memory, so that way it will have some previous context. And then lastly, you need to give it a tool. This is what's going to allow the AI agent to query the vector database. So first what you're going to want to do is search for the option answer questions with vector store. So if you come over here and click that, you will see the first one that pops up is this one. So go ahead and click that. You need to give it a model, kind of similar to the AI agent, choose whatever you would like. And then you need to give it a vector store over here. So since we are using pinecone, go ahead and click that. And then now you need to make sure the operation mode is switched to retrieve documents as vector store for chain/tool. Then you need to choose the pinecone index we created and the pinecone namespace that we also created before. Make sure that these are matching. Lastly, we need to give it the embeddings model, which is the exact same thing that we had over up here. If we click on that, it's the text embedding 3 small with dimensions 512. So make sure, again, those are matching. And that is basically it. So let's just come over here to pinecone one last time, and you can see now that we have a namespace with the name called YouTube. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask it basically what are its cleaning services. What are the cleaning services that you offer? So now it's going to go ahead and query our vector database, and it's going to return a response. So you can see that now we have like standard home cleaning, dusting, mopping, vacuuming, and such. I can actually just go ahead and open up that FAQ document for you so you can actually see what it looks like. So here you go. So you can see over here I have this is an example of a made-up company that offers cleaning services, and this is the question that we asked. Now let's just go ahead and ask it another question, like for example, what are your open hours? So I'm just gonna keep this up here, and you can see that it says we are open from Monday to Saturday 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it says we are closed on Sundays and public holidays. Perfect. So now we actually know that our AI agent is correctly querying our vector database and getting the appropriate responses. So this is quickly how you can set up your own RAG agent, and you can customize it to whatever it needs. You can give it additional tools that allow it to book meetings and such. However, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.